Welcome back to Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope. In this part, we are going through the Lich Yard, and this level is really fucking cool. Like, I just want to get that out of the way off the bat. In my opinion on this level, it's just aesthetically speaking one of the most incredible to look at levels that I've seen in a pixel art game. Just because, like, you know, you got your reds and blacks in the foreground, you got your really cool, spooky kind of purple shading on the houses and whatnot in the background. You know, like, this level looks incredible. And it also sounds incredible. Like, the music in this level is called La Danse Macabre, which I completely butchered that pronunciation, I'm well aware. But that essentially means the Dance of the Dead. And, you know, like, the song itself is just so perfectly fitting for this kind of environment. Obviously, you saw as we came into this level at the end of the last part, the boss here is going to be Specter Knight. And Specter Knight is one of the characters who already has a campaign out of his own. He has the Spectre Torment campaign, which goes a fair bit into, like, his backstory, how he ended up, like, with the Order of No Quarter and whatnot. And I will say that for both Specter Knight and Plague Knight, when we get to his level, I'm going to hold off on talking about the specifics from their campaigns for now, and just talk about what we see from them in Shovel Knight's campaign. And the reason for that is because I'm really starting to like this game a lot, and I have a feeling later down the line I will end up covering the DLC campaigns as well. Not directly after Shovel Knight's campaign, but eventually I do want to show off those campaigns as well, just because this game is so fucking fun and I want to play more of it. So I have a feeling that when I get to those campaigns, I'll spend more time talking about the characters and whatnot then. For now, we're going to be seeing Specter Knight from the perspective of a rival or an enemy of Shovel Knight. And he actually plays that part really well, as we'll see when we get to him. But there is one other thing that we just saw in this level that I will say, I don't know whether I consider it a weak part of the level or whether it's just a part that I find more challenging. But there's certain screens in this level, as you saw a couple of screens ago now, where it just flickers dark and you have to use Shovel Knight's silhouette to work out where you are. And I'm not really good at those. You'll see that particularly during the more complex platforming sections where that happens, I will be playing it quite safe. In fact, we've got a perfect example of this coming off over to the left here, where the next bonus is. Look at this, like, I have no idea where I am. I'm trying to time it around the momentary flashes. And, like, that's fine in this section here, because this is like an extra part that you go in for to get the extra music sheet. There is a screen later on, I remember, where it can be a little tricky, because there's like a bottomless pit that's obscured slightly by the dark lighting in the level. But, you know, like, it's fitting for the theme of the level, so I can't really complain too much, but, you know, it's a thing that I'm not the best at timing when I can see what I'm doing. So in a section where I'm trying to remember where the platforms are from when it flashed light, you know, I'm kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage there. But yeah, we do also get some weight platforming here. Here's one of the sections. Like, this one's like a basic thing once you realise how it's set up. Like, you can knock out the first one of those little destructible blocks there, and it makes it a lot easier. That's what I'm doing there. And once you've done that, you can just kind of stand on the platform and just keep on mashing the attack button, and then you're safe. It's just trying to make that first jump can be a little bit fiddly, and remember, the spikes at the bottom are basically Mega Man spikes. It works the exact same way. If you fall in a spike pit, then it's an instant kill, just like in Mega Man. I will say, though, they're nowhere near as dickishly placed as spikes in Mega Man. There's really not that many situations where you can just fall in a spike pit without realising that there's a spike pit there. Like, they're always shown to you quite clearly. So, I mean, like, I get why it's like that. It is the Mega Man throwback, but it's really not a problem like it can be in certain Mega Man games. I will say some of the most annoying sections for me in Mega Man games are when there's spikes on the side that shift along as the thing goes a bit diagonally. But I do want to draw us back to this item I just got here, which is arguably, to me at this point in the game where I'm up to, been the most useful item. This is the Phase Locket, which when you use it, you get just a few moments of invulnerability. I could just sort of phase past anything. So you can phase past enemies like I'm doing here with these skeleton dudes. Or you can also temporarily walk on the aforementioned spikes. So again, unlike Mega Man, you do have a little bit of resistance there. Although saying that, I think one of the Mega Man games had either an item or a power-up where you can defend yourself against spikes. I seem to recall that, but it's not coming to me mind which one it was. It might have been like one of the power-ups, maybe in one of the X games, or maybe one of the extras from 9 or 10, I can't remember. I know Mega Man 10 had that easy mode where they covered up a lot of the spikes, which not quite what I'm thinking of, but that was also a section. And I actually remember when I was first getting into Mega Man, for a little while I did play through Mega Man 10 on easy mode just to get a feel for it. And, you know, like, going back to it now, it is kind of a joke, because, like, anywhere there's a bit of a challenge, you know, like, there might be a spike pit, but then there'll be these little flying platforms just above said spike pit. So, but, you know, like, it's probably on par with Mega Man 2's normal mode as, like, a good way to get into Mega Man if you're really unfamiliar with that particular brand of platforming. Like, look at this platforming section here. This is the one I was getting at. This is the part where, you know, you want to keep your eyes open and especially pay attention to where them ghosts are relative to you. Because if they get you, there's not like really offensive knockback in this game, but it can be enough for you to miscalculate your jump and fall straight into the pit. But ladies and gentlemen, here is Specter Night. So, Specter Knight here, his game, he seems to be trying to fuck with Shovel Knight a bit by claiming that he's already got to Shield Knight, and given he's basically the Grim Reaper, you know, like, that's a little bit fucked up, mate. Like, you shouldn't torment him like that, but yeah. So, Specter Knight's pattern, what he will do, he will throw around his scythe and he will just warp all over the screen. I did actually die to him on my first go of this. Like, what I've been doing, I've been having a practice run of each boss before I get my recorded run down, and on my first run, he killed me. Like, it took me a little while to clock on to the pattern of jumping with the shovel down in time for when he warps across the screen, so I think he managed to hit me a few more times than, you know, like, I was able to handle. But once you do clock onto his pattern, he's really not that hard. You just got to pay attention to where his scythe is, and you can usually just get a couple of hits in like I did just then. And he's also got the undead skeleton things, which I would think if they're a skeleton, they're already sort of undead, but these ones seem a little bit undeader than the ones that we've seen in other levels. But hey, it's cool. Like, I can work with them. I will say, during the boss, the flickering dark sections really aren't that bad compared to the level, because, like, you know, he's going to be in one of two places, really, either over on the left or over on the right. So as long as you jump with your shovel down, you should be able to get 1 or 2 hits in on him, depending on how punctual you are with your jump. But yeah, it's time for another dream sequence, I believe. So yeah, I was doing a little bit of research on the Shovel Knight wiki, which is actually really well kept, by the way. There's a Shovel Knight wiki out there that has loads of information on, like, the characters, the development, all that kind of stuff, the soundtrack and whatnot. And I was just seeing what's kind of coming up, and these dream sequences seem to be at the end of every quadrant of the game's map. So, like, there's up to this point, we've had Black Knight, King Knight, and Specter Knight. We get a dream sequence, and there'll be more as we go along, like later down the line. And the dream sequences apparently get a bit harder to actually catch Shield Knight. So I guess I'm going to have to be on the ball a little bit more there. But I did just get a meal ticket there. So that is basically a free health upgrade. But here is one of the little mini games, or like little mini side levels. And this is basically your prompt to make use of the phase locket. So as you see there, I've just wandered across the spikes without getting hurt. This is very much a game of timing, this particular level, because the phase locket, it really doesn't last that long, which understandable because it'd be kind of OP if it did. But you know, you got to time your jumps in time with when the phase locket's going to expire. And just a general rule of thumb I've found is just try not to get cocky with it. Because like little sections like here, that spike platform is just a little bit too long for you to get across with one phase locket cycle. So you kind of have to jump and then do it again if you want to get all the gems on there. But with the phase locket, how it works in terms of finding it is, I found it in the level just now. I found it in Specter Knight stage. If you don't find it there, you can go buy it from Chester in the village, which that's the case for, I believe, all of the power-ups there. You can either find them ahead of time in the level, or once you beat the level, you can go and buy them from here. I don't know whether the cost is the same. Like, I don't know if he discounts them if you find them in a level. I might have to look into that at some point. But yeah, I'm actually doing kind of alright for money here, given, you know, I've found a good handful of the music sheets here, and this guy's going to hand over a fair bit of cash for them. Look, I'm getting closer to 10k. I don't think I'm going to get it in this part, given, you know, I'm about to spend it on a load of bonus stuff. But I will get to 10k shortly. And I will say, in terms of the music sheets, I will probably miss a few. In fact, I know I've missed one in my recording so far for the next level. So I'm not going to be trying to like 100% this, but if I see one like that I can easily get to, I will go out of my way to get it, just because, you know, it's a little extra. I might as well. Come on, cook us up a nice tasty meal, mate. Let's see what this is. Oh, that looks absolutely delicious. Thank you so much. Like, some of these meals that he cooks up really don't look all that appealing, I will say. But now I have the phase locket, it's probably a good time for me to start actually giving a shit about getting more magic points. Because, you know, I will end up using that a fair bit. Anyway, let's stand here awkwardly while this lady dances. I know Shovel Knight is just using his basic standing sprite, but I like to imagine this is him just like not having any idea at all how to react to this. Do I have to applaud you, love, or can I just take this and go? And that gentleman there is the guy who, I believe King Knight just sort of barged him out of the way when he decided he wanted to become king instead. Which, I don't think that's how monarchy is meant to work, but, you know. King Knight seems like quite an interesting individual, although I will say, given he's the one who we haven't had the campaign for yet, but we're waiting for it, I think it'll be interesting to see how they characterise him. Given right now he does seem to be a bit of a comic relief character. Not in the traditional sense, but in the sense that, like, you know, he's a knight who wants to be king, so he's going to act as king. I'll be curious to see how King of Cards handles his character when they develop him a little bit more than that. And let's be a complete dick to this kid here. Because why not? I'm just leaving the village and I might as well just leave a lasting impression. But, ladies and gentlemen, join me next time where I'll be heading to the Explodatorium. Bye bye for now.